welcome to day 3 of this 10-day yoga challenge. Great job committing to getting a yoga practice going, even if just for 10 to 20 minutes a day. It makes a huge difference in your overall well-being. And this is an all levels focused yoga challenge. So if you're a beginner, we offer some modifications. If you're more advanced, then you can get something out of this challenge as well. It's very well-rounded. So let's go ahead and grab your mat and get started. So let's start today's practice in hero pose. So big toes touching, sit down on your heels, and the knees are pointing straight forward from the hips. If this is too intense, you could sit cross-legged instead. And then we'll rest our hands, palms facing down in your lap, and take a moment to align your nose over your navel. So we're tuning into a quality of observation and receptivity for whatever it is you notice and observe today in your practice. Tune into the natural flow of your breath for a couple of rounds to help guide you into the present moment and prepare to be fully in your body today. Letting everything else outside the space of the moment fall away as you tune into your breath. And let's start to take the hands together in front of the body and rub the hands together, generate some warmth, generate some healing. And then we'll take our hands right onto your lower back and give the lower back a little press. Point your elbows straight back and begin to draw the shoulder blades a little more actively together on the back. And then look up toward the sky. Take an inhale breath. And then exhale, make your way slowly into a tabletop position. From tabletop position, the toes are lightly tucked. Let's start to twist and open the upper body. Take your right hand underneath your face, and as you inhale, take your left arm out to a cactus and look at your left elbow. And when you exhale, reach your left arm underneath, away from the shoulder, and we'll follow our gaze into the left fingertips. Inhale to a cactus, exhale, reach under. Inhale, cactus, exhale, reach under. Inhale, cactus, exhale, reach under. This time, send your hips back a little bit. So we're coming toward a child's pose with toes lightly tucked, and we're sending that left arm underneath and resting your left temple down to the floor, peeking under your right underarm, and breathing with a little resistance of the back of that left hand into the ground. So we inhale, a lot of space under that left shoulder. And when you exhale, imagining the breath flowing out through the left fingertips as you press your right hand away from your right hip. When you exhale next, pull your belly in toward the spine. Come up to right tented fingers, and we'll draw the belly in and unwind right up onto your knees. Take your hands on imaginary back pockets. Slide your hands toward your sacrum. Inhale, lift your chest, back bend, look up. Exhale, back to neutral. We'll come into a tabletop, and we're going to take our left hand under the face. Inhale, right arm out to a cactus. Exhale, thread under, and reach the right fingertips away from the shoulder. And then inhale, open, cactus. Exhale, reach under. Inhale, open. Exhale, send the hips back a little bit, and then reach your right arm underneath. So it's almost like coming into a child's pose, whatever amount you can, resisting the back of your right hand into the ground and stretching your left fingertips away, reaching the left sitting bones straight back. Inhale, we expand the belly. Exhale, we pull the belly in. And next time you exhale, left tented fingers help you unwind your way to stand up on the knees. Draw your shoulder blades down the back, hands into imaginary back pockets. Lift your heart. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, back to neutral. Come into tabletop and walk your hands forward into a modified plank. With the toes curled underneath, point your elbows towards your outer heels. Hug your elbows in, come down onto your belly. Take the tops of the feet flat, cobra pose on the inhale, a back bend, shoulder blades glide down the back. And then exhale, send the hips toward the heels, tuck your toes, come on up in a downward facing dog. And pedal out your feet, lifting one heel at a time. Opening up the backs of your legs. letting the head hang and pressing the heels of the hands away from your toes, opening your knees slightly. Now go ahead and stretch your right heel straight up and back any amount for three-legged dog. Drop your left heel down toward the floor. Inhale. Exhale, knee to nose. You may have to manually help hoist that right foot through right between the hands. Right knee is over the heel. Let's spin the left heel down, preparing for warrior one. Left toes are pointing toward your left wrist. And let's start to come on up and find warrior one with your arms alongside the body and letting the pelvis drop down. Pressing through the outside edge of the left foot. Draw your belly in, start to reach your arms forward and reach your fingertips up right away from the hips. Good. And then turn your palms away from each other and press the palms away as you sink your hips. Reach back behind, interlace your fingers, drop your knuckles down, lift your chest. Inhale, look up. Exhale, release your hands to frame that right foot on the floor or two yoga blocks if you had those. And then drag your right sitting bone back and start to fold your forehead towards your right shin. Roll your left hip point down and look at your right hip. Breathing there. And then look at your right foot. Then take a look at your right foot. Turn your right toes in, your right heel out, and walk your hands in between your feet. Take your right fingertips underneath your shoulder. Take your left hand onto your back and swipe it around, reaching for a bind in that right thigh, or just resting your hand on your back. Look to the left. And then go ahead and start to turn your left toes toward the back of your mat and release your hands to frame your left foot. Swing your right heel over the toes and drop your right knee down. Take your right hand toward the upper corner of the mat, which is now what was the back of your mat. Now we're turning. Drop your right hip. Take your left hand onto your back. Take a simple twist there. Inhale. Exhale, release your left hand down. Hands are framing that left foot. Lift your right thigh and then start to straighten your left leg and walk your hands in between your feet. Then walk your hands back towards your right foot. Turn your right toes to point straight ahead. Drop your left knee down under the hip. Slide your right leg back into tabletop pose. Inhale, belly hangs, look up. Exhale, press through the tops of the feet and round, lift the belly, chin to chest. Then send the hips back toward the heels into child's pose, stretching your hands away from the knees. Then looking between the thumbs, snake your way forward. Come all the way down onto your belly. When you come down onto your belly, palms under elbows, cobra pose, back bend. Inhale, exhale, tuck your toes, and let's meet up in downward dog. Now in downward dog, stretch that left heel high, three-legged dog. Inhale, exhale, knee to nose, and step that left foot through. Even if you have to manually help, get that left knee over the heel. Start to look gently forward. Spin your right heel down. It's about heel to heel alignment. Drop your tailbone and lift your belly up, coming toward warrior one position. So that left thigh bone pulls into the hip socket. The right hip is rolling slightly forward. And then when you're stable, reach your arms right up away from your hips. Warrior one. And we'll inhale, reach up through the fingertips. Exhale, press the palms away and reach back behind to interlace the fingers. And on the inhale, lift your chest. You can straighten that front leg. When you exhale, bend your front knee slightly. Release your hands to frame your front foot. And let's drag that left leg all the way towards straight and fold. Finding Parsvottanasana. We're anchoring that right outer heel and dragging the left sits bone straight back. Now walk your hands in between your feet. Turn your left toes in, your left heel out. With the left tented fingers about under your face, take your right hand onto your back, swipe around, try to bind, and finding that twist. So we're pulling the inner thighs back. And then we're going to start to walk that left hand toward your right foot. Turn your right toes to point straight ahead. Swing the back heel over the toes, coming into this lunge. And coming into that twist, left knee down, left hand a little wider than the shoulder. right hand on the outer right thigh, or that right hand can be on your back. And you turn and look to the right. And we'll inhale and we'll exhale. Release your hands to frame that front foot. Lift the left thigh. Start to straighten that right leg and turn the right toes in, walking your hands in between your feet. And then walking your hands towards your left foot. Turn your left toes to point straight ahead. Swing your right heel over the toes. Take a big step back into plank pose. Now you can either lower down through chaturanga if that's your practice, or just meet us in downward dog. So take your time to meet in downward dog, where we'll take a big inhale through your nose. Exhale, let it out. And we're coming forward into tabletop. Swing your ankles underneath. And come on to sit with your knees pointing straight forward. The top of your left foot is resting in the arch of your right foot. Then start to turn to the right. Just walk your hands over to the right toward the lengthwise side of your mat. Sit up tall and look over your right shoulder. And let's inhale. When you exhale, take your fingertips behind you. Unwind your feet forward, hip width distance apart. And then go ahead and take your hands onto the floor with your fingertips pointing toward your heels. Press through your hands, press through your feet. Lift up into reverse tabletop. On your inhale, engage your gluteals. On your exhale, melt down. Sitting bones, release down. And then we're going to gather the heels toward that right sitting bone. Rest the top of your right foot in the arch of your left foot. Your knees are pointing straight toward the front of your mat. And just take a gentle turn to the left. You're wrapping that right rib toward the left rib and looking over your left shoulder. Breathing there. Inhale, belly. Exhale, hug your belly in. And take your hands behind you. Slide your legs out straight. And go ahead and inch your way toward the front of your mat so you have some room. And we'll come down onto the back slowly. Coming down onto the back, resting with palms facing up alongside the body. Turn your face to the right, tuck that left shoulder under. Turn your face to the left, tuck that right shoulder under. And then open your right knee out to the right in a half bound angle. Pose for a second. And then step your right foot on the ground. Then open your left knee to about half bound angle. And then step your left foot on the ground. Feet are on the floor, about hip width distance. Take your arms alongside the body, a little bit more reaching for your heels, palms facing up. Root through your feet, lift the hips and pelvis, taking one bridge pose. Breathing the chest toward the chin. Breathing here. Take an inhale, chest to chin. Exhale, roll down slowly, upper back, middle back, lower back, melting down. Tailbone releasing last. We'll slide our arms out into a nice open cactus. Take your feet mat width distance and start to windshield wiper your knees side to side. As knees go to right, your face drifts left. As knees go to left, your face drifts right. And we move side to side in that way. Pausing anywhere that feels good. And then over the next few moments, gradually make your way into your Savasana for today. So arms can be alongside the body, palms facing up. You could have your knees knocking into touch in constructive rest if your back is tender, or you let your legs slide out and find an extended Shavasana to rest for a few breaths, letting the floor support you. Taking a moment to feel really good about your choice to commit to 10 days of yoga and commit to having a regular self-care practice in your life in the new year and beyond. Taking time to tune into how you feel. So the energy that you're often letting drift out and leak out into the world, you're taking time to replenish those wells by directing your energy and your focus inward. Bring the corners of the mouth slightly upward. Take some time to tune into your heartbeat, And as you inhale, invite gratitude for anything at all and inviting compassion for this self. And as you exhale, let go of stress or anything you want to release that doesn't serve you right now. We're starting to wiggle fingers and toes. Eventually reaching the arms overhead, taking a stretch. And we didn't do a particular intention at the beginning of class, so why don't we think of an intention now for the rest of your day, wherever you're at. What's your intention for the rest of today? Let's hug your knees in, give yourself a nourishing hug, rock and massage your back, and take your time to roll over to either side and slowly come on up to sit. Arriving again in a tall upright seat, let's inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Exhale, bring the hands down right through heart center and bringing the thumbs to the center of the chest. Thanking yourself for showing up today, and I thank you for you. Thank you for being here. Wishing you joy, peace, health, strength, courage, and trust on the journey. Keep it up. Keep integrating yoga into your life, and I look forward to seeing you for day 4. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and that super thanks button also supports me. You're doing great. See you next time. Take care.